Oh, welcome to another edition of Sunday Science, everybody. Glad you could join us today. Hey, look at that. You can actually see me. That's a little different.
A little bit.
Yes, so thank you, Sai. He has changed our format and the streaming, well, not really the streaming service, but the meeting service that we're using. So you can actually see us a little bit better now and see us at all, for that matter.
Well, some of us that would be.
Well, yes, there is always Ghost.
Ghost Pug. Ghost Pug for the win. That sounds like it should be like a superhero, Ghost Pug. You know, we have Daredevil, we have Ghost Rider. Why not Ghost Pug? I think that should totally be a thing.
Yeah, Ghost Pug could be a thing.
It should. You know, Sai should totally have Ghost Pug for movie nights.
I second that.
Spooky Ghost Pug. Would Ghost Pug have a ghost face? You know, like in the Scream films. Anyway, I digress. Please continue.
So another one that is new for this evening, we are actually multicasting between Sai's channel and my channel for the first time. At some point in time, I did tell Sai Strike that Sunday Science would be on my channel so that he wouldn't have the burden of having to make sure that he was around whenever I wanted to do this. So we are multicasting on both channels right now, so that's also a new thing, which is pretty cool.
Yay!
So outside of those things that are new, this evening is a little birthday shout out to our friend Stephen Bauman, who his birthday is tomorrow, and I thought it would be fun to give Stephen a birthday surprise episode of how we come into the world.
Animals in their birthday suits doing birthday things in order to bring other animals toward they can have their own birthdays every year.
Yes.
It's all about birthdays.
So I don't think that we need to have very much discussion about primates, as I think we all know plenty there about how primates entered the world.
You know, people just need to go to the zoo and watch the bonobos, and that's covered. You watch the bonobos, you will understand a lot about primate sexuality.
You are absolutely correct.
No, they're very close to humans, and they do lots of things that, you know, humans do, except in public.
They are shameless.
They don't know what that is, so it's okay.
Well, of course not. You can't be ashamed of something if you're not aware of the fact that shame exists to begin with.
Yeah, they don't know about Jesus and all that, so it's okay.
Oh, that's got to make things a lot easier.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
You don't need to apologize for anything. You're fine.
Okay.
Ever been to
Sai
the
is awful quiet. He's just like very quiet right now.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's sitting in horror. It's like horrified behind his pug face.
Not at all. It's no. I was just listening to that, and it brought my memories back. Have either of you ever been to the Maryland Zoo? They have.
Yes.
I have not.
They have an excellent primate. They have excellent everything, actually.
It is actually quite a spectacular zoo.
In the primate exhibit, one of the primate exhibits, there was apparently great goings on when I had passed. One of the monkeys had a bagel because they just distributed food, and this monkey had a bagel, and all of the other monkeys were chasing it around to try to get the bagel, and he was successfully avoiding all of them. And when they lost interest, we found out why he was avoiding sharing the bagel. He gave it to another monkey.
Oh wow.
I assumed it was one of those, no, this is my food, you all get the hell away from me. But it was not. Anyway, that is a great zoo. Yeah, I feel like there should have been more to that sentence, but yeah, I'll end it on it's a great zoo.
It's a great zoo. That's all you need.
Indeed.
You know, I live in a city where our zoo is like in the top 5 zoos, and we do have our own primate section, which is fantastic. But it makes me nuts when I go to the zoo and there are people that are like, oh, wow, look at the monkeys. And there's like a gorilla. And I'm like, monkeys have tails. Apes do not. It makes me so angry. Look at the monkeys doing this. Like, those are not monkeys. They don't have tails. Monkeys have tails. They're over that way. They're over there.
As I recall, Miami had a very interesting one as well. That was where I discovered that I think they had quite a few very, very large gorillas. and
oh my goodness,
they were somewhat bigger than I expected them to be. Much like dolphins. When you see them in the show, oh, look at that, it's a dolphin. And then I was out on the ocean on the Wave Runner, and the dolphin is 4 feet longer than the vehicle I'm on.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
you know, it's really funny because we actually do have a bonobo section at our particular zoo, and when the ladies are in heat, their bottoms swell really, 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 really large. You know, it's like lots of junk in the trunk. And so it was mating season for the bonobos, and the ladies' bottoms were very, very swollen. And there was like a little girl that was looking at the bonobos going, oh my God, monkey butt. Look at the monkey butt. Look at the monkey butt. Oh, look at the monkey butt. And that was just, everybody was dying.
Oh my gosh.
It's like really, really swollen. It was like baby got back, but times 10 amongst the bonobos. You know, Sir Mix-a-Lot would have been proud. It's just, wow. Oh, goodness.
Oh my.
We're off to a wonderfully sciencey start, aren't we?
You know, it's primates, our cousins, our genetic cousins. What can we say?
Indeed.
It is true. So, having already covered our primate fun, if Steven's out there watching this, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Steven. Go to the zoo and check out some primates doing things in their birthday suits. That's not what this episode is.
Oh my God.
Poor Steven. Steven be like, what the heck was going on? We were learning things, Steven. It's science.
Yes.
God. Why must we act like we're juvenile? Well, you know, it is science.
Okay, it's gonna be another.
I feel like sometimes I might ruin Sunday science because I'm like a 12-year-old sometimes.
Ruin? This is just gonna be another one of those shows. That's a good thing.
That's like every one that I'm on.
I don't think anybody objects to happy, and happy is fine.
Okay.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with being happy.
Indeed.
Happy and silly and goofy. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
As you do.
So, part of what is going to be seen on this show is going to be some fun that, for any of you who follow Mel's channel, you already know that there is some weird quackery in the world of ducks.
Oh my! Oh my! Quackery.
There are many weird things in the world of a lot of animals when it comes to how they choose to procreate. So, since we all have to come into this world somehow, I just thought it would be fun to have a goofy episode and we could take a look at an amazing artist's renditions of how certain creatures choose to copulate.
Oh my goodness.
And so it begins.
And so it begins indeed.
Are we doing a Lord of the Rings thing? And so it begins.
Indeed.
The end of the world of men.
Well, you know, it is a track down a very strange road, but I'm pretty sure it will be plenty entertaining and not dark.
Yes, odds are, and creative, I would say.
Very creative. So, you know, it's in the insect world, I think a lot of people forget that males are the smaller of the two, males are the lesser of the two. And since oftentimes I think that that is the case, I thought it would be fun to take a look at some insects and their habits, if you will. So, Sai, I sent you a link for spider fun. And since we all love spiders.
Oh, indeed.
Just absolutely love spiders. Maybe we could take a look at that one.
All right. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I just, if you recall, I recently had to relocate quite a troop of black widows from the house to elsewhere.
You know, sometimes that happens.
Indeed. It would not have been right to expunge them just for being what they are. That's just not right. All righty. Well, so spiders, you say? All righty. Well, here we go. Spiders it shall be.
If I were a spider, I would have 6 eyes and still don't see very well. I would have 8 limbs, and next to my anus, I would have spinnerets where I can produce my silk thread. I would have no penis, so I would have to press against my genital opening to collect sperms with my hand-like appendages, the palpi. I would approach the female very, very carefully. She is very, very big and very, very aggressive. If I shake the web, she might think she caught a fly and eat me. When I'm close enough, I would dig my palpi in her epigyne and run off.
It's like inseminate and run. You know, drive-by insemination by spiders.
Oh my gosh.
It's like they just go in. It's really weird. It's like she takes her fist and she's like, yes, inseminate, and then I'm going.
Getting out of here before someone eats me.
Really, no dinner or anything. Jeez.
Oh my goodness. So you know what? The male tends to be eaten a lot in spider relationships. And so the quicker they are like, I'm gonna go and put my stuff in the lady, and I'm gonna run away as quickly as possible because I don't want my head torn off. Because that's really rough. And it's so final, you know, that's a hard limit, I think, for lots of male spiders. I think if they knew that that was the fate for them, they probably wouldn't procreate so much. But instinct is a heck of a thing, man. So it's like, I have to have babies, so I'm gonna try really hard with this lady, and hopefully she won't eat me, and I'm gonna run away really fast.
It's a damn good way to ensure monogamy.
Oh, it's so final.
It really is.
It's like I'm gonna have my babies and die, you know, but that's what squids do. So yeah.
Octopus as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The octopus and the squids, they have babies one night and then they freaking die after a long marathon night of impregnating each other, and then they just it's done.
Yep.
Sometimes salmon.
We're gonna get this done and then we're gonna die.
I suppose there are worse ways. You're
probably right about that.
Probably worse ways. They won't be like in a drive-by shooting or anything like that. It'll be like I was having sex with 10 other salmon, and then I died because I was tired. It was like,
so that's
what do you do?
So Mel, that's your considered opinion. That's all they need, a nap, and this problem would be taken care of.
It's just, if I was just, I got to go take a nap for a bit, eat a little snack, and then I'll be okay.
Oh my.
Maybe they're just diehard and hardcore reproductive organisms, and they're like, go big or go home. If I don't die the night of, it's like legendary. You remember Bob the salmon over there? He was just like going on all night. He died, man. That's total legend. So maybe they have like legendary salmon stories. Maybe it's the same way for spiders.
Well, if it's not the same way for spiders, then it might be the same way for praying mantises.
Oh.
Yes.
You know what, Andy? As luck would have it, we happen to have a video on just that topic.
Yay!
We do, in fact. Why don't I
Yay, manti sex.
Alrighty. Let's...
all for Stephen and his birthday.
Happy birthday once again, Stephen. And here we go. The praying mantis.
If I were a mantis, I would hold my forelegs like this, and for it, I am known as the praying mantis. I can turn my head almost 360 degrees without moving any other parts of my body. I can change color to camouflage myself and hide in nature. My mate is a cannibal. She has eaten many husbands already. But that doesn't scare me. My sexual drive is the strongest. I would approach her carefully. I would mount her. I would penetrate her. She would turn her head. She would snatch my head off. She would eat me, but I keep copulating. Nothing stops me. I keep going. Sex!
All right. Also, a final way to have babies.
Indeed. I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to change your diet when you're considering pregnancy. It's for some animals, it's just your spouse's head.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of protein in a praying mantis's head, so it makes sense, I suppose. in the insect world, but in the human world, it's quite disturbing to consider because then it gets all Hannibal and strange in weird ways.
That would get a little bit strange in the people world, but
I'm sorry, we're having sex now, which means I have to eat your face. So, that's just how it goes. You know the rules. That's nature.
And-
it's not my fault.
and
I
with the-
have to eat your face and brains.
And with the praying mantis, he's like, he's like, okay, I'm fine with that. What? Face eating?
Netflix
Oh yes, by all
cannibalism.
means.
Hey, sounds like a good night.
Again, there are worse ways to go, I suppose, but not necessarily, you know, if somebody's not totally understanding that that's the end game, that might be a very severe problem.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're going to have babies. I'm going to eat your face. I hope that's okay. If not, you should probably not commence with the lovemaking.
Well, he's not
Them's the rules. I don't make them up. It's part of nature.
He's not going to need cab fare to get home. That's a good.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do a walk of shame unless they're like a chicken and they wander around without their head for a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, that's a little bit mildly disturbing. Maybe in the zombie apocalypse, that would be an interesting thing. That could be a whole series. What if there were women who would have sex with zombies and rip off their heads afterwards? Now I'm really gonna have nightmares this evening.
See, and here I was thinking that somehow we would actually talk about zombie insects.
Oh my gosh, zombie insects.
Can you imagine the number of people that would be bitten by zombie mosquitoes, and it would just spread so fast?
It would, but how would that go? Would they act like zombie people, or would they act like the zombie version of the insects that bit them?
See,
See,
I
that's
don't
the
know
thing
if
to
there's a
think
clear
about.
answer on that one.
See,
That is something to think about.
Because if they were like mosquitoes, maybe they just want to suck the blood out of other people, and so they make them a little bit vampire-y. I don't know.
see,
Zombie vampire because you were bitten by a zombie mosquito.
when you guys said zombie insects, my first thought is the one that you know the bacteria or whatever, the fungus, whatever gets into its brain, it climbs to the top of something so a bird will eat. This is what I was thinking. I was not thinking what you guys are talking about.
Oh my goodness.
You know, sometimes conversations stray and you don't know where they're going to wind up.
I feel like I will be getting messages from Andy and Cy later. I'm going, what the heck was that, Mel? Like, I don't quite know myself. Nature is strange. I'm just going to blame nature and the natural order of things because that's way easier.
Well, you know, I did decide to not toss in the seahorse one because I just didn't feel like thinking about me getting pregnant and carrying a bunch of tiny little animals around.
See, coward! You should have totally thrown in the seahorse one.
Oh,
Side Strike, you can look it up and you can play it. I know that you can find that. We still have one more that we're going to go over, and we still have at least a half hour. So.
Oh my goodness!
well,
yeah, the zombies, like the zebra one. The dad carries the babies, not the mom. It's pretty awesome.
See, if that was the case in humans, it is fortunate that men are not responsible for producing the babies, because that would be the end of humanity. Someone would tell us. Someone would tell us ahead of time. This is going to hurt.
Okay, as an aside, slightly political. If men were in charge of having babies themselves, there would be like contraception at every Starbucks. I'm just saying.
oh yeah, and there would be no more humans, because someone would slip and tell us it hurts, and we'd be like, oh, it's uncomfortable. You say?
It's like pooping, though, Cy. That's what some guys say. It's just like pooping.
Yeah. A watermelon. Yes.
It's like somebody ties strings around your uterus and rips it out of your body when they're like attached to a Jeep. It's just like, you just rip your insides out, and then I'm going to stuff them back in, and we're just going to do that for like 2 days. It's quite all right.
No, the human race would not have survived if it was up to men for that. It just wouldn't.
No, we'll buy him stuff after. We'll buy him stuff. But that's...
Yeah, well, let's rip out your colon and shove it back in, and then rip it out again and shove it back in, you know? And we're just going to tell you to breathe. Just breathe through it. It's okay.
Yes, if you breathe the right way, trauma disappears.
If you breathe and breathe and breathe, it's just, you know, you just get through it. It feels like 5 minutes of somebody ripping your guts out and just shoving it back in your body. And then you'll have a rest for like 2 minutes. And then it's 5 minutes more of like the Jeep with the chains ripping your guts out and shoving them back in your body.
See, what baffles me...
survive if it was up to men for procreation, for that portion of procreating.
What baffles me about this is, yes, it is accepted by all, obviously, that women are brave because they know ahead of time what this is going to feel. They're told. It's not like it's a secret. But experiencing it has got to be just tremendously more intense than hearing about it. What I am baffled by is why there's ever a child 2. I mean, I would, if it were me, if I was going through it once, I'd be like, okay, you know what? This is the one. This is the good one. We're sticking with this.
This is it. I'm done. All my genes are in this one. If it don't work, peace out.
Yep.
It's like, whatever, I'm done.
I'll take care of this one.
I've contributed to the gene pool the best I possibly can. This is BS, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have nothing but admiration for anyway. All right. Well.
Oh my God. You know what? The funny thing, speaking of all that, Darwinian evolution, you're not considered fit Darwinian-wise unless your children have children. Then you're considered fit. I worked for an evolutionary biologist in his lab, tried to, you know, I just enjoyed the work that he did. And so I worked a lot with him. He still writes letters of recommendation for me. But his wife, they had like 6 kids. I'm like, he's going to be so Darwinian fit. It's like they have like 6 kids. And then those kids, at least 3 of them will probably have kids, even if the other 3 don't. Like, which I found incredibly interesting because of the fact that he is actually an evolutionary biologist with 6 kids. And he works primarily with insects, oddly enough. But I'm like, you know, he's like probably the most Darwinian fit dude I know. And he is just, it's like his kids, you know, even if only half of them have kids, he's still considered fit, according to Darwin.
So among all of us, he would probably be the most understanding of, I mean, you worked with insects a lot. He would probably be the most understanding if at some point during having all those children, his head was eaten. He would understand that.
Yes, he probably would.
Okay.
He worked primarily with beetles. And let me tell you, because he tasked me, because he was given samples from Yale. And so we had like these boxes of beetles. And so I was tasked with categorizing them phylogenetically, whether or not they had antenna, color, what the color of their wings were. They had spots, red, yellow, if there were no spots. And they had teeny tiny little barcodes on their legs. Teeny tiny barcodes. So I had to go through and categorize them by shape, by antenna or no, spots or not on their wings, what color the spots were. I was cross-eyed after a period of time. And then we were also rearing ladybugs because we were trying to do the genome of the ladybug. But since we were trying to do a specific line, if you're just breeding the same line over and over and over again, of course you have genetic issues pop up to where the progeny die. So it's like, okay, so running all this stuff, all these tests, and then categorizing all of these species. He's a really nice guy, but man, I was cross-eyed after a while working in his lab from trying to categorize all of these beetles. But yeah, I would think you'd understand the praying mantis thing.
Yeah,
I don't think I could ever do any work in entomology. It's fascinating. Don't get me wrong. I think it's absolutely fascinating, but I could not do that as a job.
You know, I
Oh
think
my goodness.
I might be able to. I mean, especially after motorcycling, you get hit in the forehead with a June bug. You want to know what the hell was that? What the hell was that? Where did it come from? There's not supposed to be beetles as big as a golf ball. Anyway,
Well, there
Mel.
are beetles as big as a golf ball, and there
indeed.
are very strange bee-like insects that like to burrow their young into the bark of trees.
Indeed.
And we just started getting those.
Roaches. Oh
We
my
just
god.
started getting those in Colorado, and it was freaky as hell because you see this bug that looks like a wasp on steroids with a stinger that you think is out to kill you, and it winds up being a reproductive organ.
Was it making you jealous,
away.
Andy? Was it making you jealous?
Maybe a smidgen. I don't know.
A smidgen. Okay.
Just a smidgen.
Body size ratio was the thing. Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's like 5 times the length of its body. You know?
Wow. I feel sorry for the lady bees.
Oh, no. That is the lady bee.
The lady bee has the giant penis?
Yes, she uses it to burrow into bark on a tree so that she can lay her eggs in it.
Wow. I'm so impressed with that.
Okay.
Can you imagine if women had penises to lay their eggs in things? That would just be...
Oh, God, that'd be
Scary.
even worse.
What if ladies had penises to lay their eggs in men? Wouldn't that be great?
That sounds uncomfortable and not very much fun.
This sounds like a sci-fi B movie. Why isn't this a thing? I feel like every time I'm on this show, we come up with new sci-fi B movies that should totally be a thing.
Okay. Crypto points out that we should probably call it an ovipositor instead of a lady penis. I'm good with that. Thank you, Crypto.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that works.
Lady penis was probably not the best term. So,
Oh,
Mel, I
lady penis.
have a ladybug question for you, since you mentioned you were cataloging and doing stuff with ladybugs. I've not looked into this. I've always wondered this. Have you seen the anti-ladybugs? Black with the red spots? I've seen them, and first I wondered, is it the same animal that just through some quirk that it's black with red spots?
Probably is. I would think that it probably is. We were working with a very specific line, and we needed to keep the line the same for as long as possible so we can map it genetically.
Mm-hmm.
And so taking the same family of ladybugs, we had to be very careful not to introduce them into the wild. And so we reared them in the lab. We didn't have any of the black with the red spots. We only had the red with the black spots. And this particular line, we just kept within, our lab, and we would sequence, once they had babies, and we take the babies and sacrifice them. And then we would take the portions and run PCR and amplify their various DNA to be able to map them. And we would use Genius software, GENEOUS, I believe it was called. And we would ship off certain portions. And the way that they do evolutionary biology to determine whether or not species are related on the phylogenetic tree is through how many genes they have in common. So if it's like 9 genes in common, then they consider that pretty close. Because a lot of the genes we have are the same. Like 75% of our DNA is the same as a banana. Yeah. So we have similar types of respiration, things like that. That's just kind of standard across life. Whether or not it's closely related is based on other types of genes. And so when we would ship off those particular samples that we have, they would get the actual code. And so we would go through the software and make certain that the code lined up, and then we would compare it with other species. So we were trying to map the total genome of the ladybug. We actually didn't encounter the black with red spots. We just had the red with black spots. But because of the fact we were dealing with a solitary line, we had some issues with the offspring having debilitating types of genetic disorders, because that happens when you inbreed. I mean,
Indeed.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does. So.
Yeah, that was just something I was curious about, if they were, anti ladybugs, and if, one of
I
each.
think it's just like maybe a change in the gene, but still the same species.
I would imagine. I don't see them very frequently, so it's got to be a fluke of some sort. But anyway, all right.
Indeed. So the species that I was thinking about that I saw they are terrifying if you see them, but they're actually not. They're not a wasp that does anything. They don't sting you. They're not mean. They're not aggressive. They're nothing like a yellow jacket or a hornet. But the giant ichneumon wasp is one of the freakiest looking wasps holy crap. They're just weird looking.
Huh.
I don't like wasps. They're jerks.
Oh yeah.
They are.
We've all seen that I'm sure that meme with the picture of a wasp that's supposed to be talking about its various body parts, and they're all named things like rage, hatred, things like that, and it points to all the different
Wasps
parts.
are asses, man. They're horrible. They're so mean. They're so
wasps
mean.
Really are mean, but bees are not so mean.
No, they're not. And
we
carpenter bees though.
Oh,
carpenter bees are pretty rabid.
Wait,
well, bees can get a little mean, but
wait, is the carpenter bee the same as the wood borer bee?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because the wood borer bees, they don't sting anything because they can't. They don't have stingers, and they're actually how they defend their they burrow a hole into some wood thing. We had a colony made a nest in the post for the mailbox for the computer company stuff, and it was out, but the mailbox was out by the smoking pole, and they always post one guard. And after seeing me out there every day, apparently the hive adopted me. And how a wood borer bee defends against invasion by any other insect is they do it in midair and they bump it with their eyes. They fly into it and bump it with their eyes to chase it off.
They fist bump with their eyeballs.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And I was out there, and a yellow jacket came and was buzzing around my face, and guard bee caught sight of that, flew over by me, and bumped it. And then the yellow jacket went away, and the wood borer bee went back to guarding the nest. That was the weirdest thing ever. What are you guys talking about? I was guarded by a bee. Anyway.
Steve, you missed all of the animal sex previous to this, and I feel like we should go back and redo some of this. For your own personal benefit.
We still have more to talk about.
Oh, that we do.
Okay.
At this point, Sai has found the...
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yep.
It's your birthday, so we're talking about animals having sex in their birthday suits.
Oh, you guys know I probably won't be there for this one, right? I'm actually with somebody right now. I'm sitting in my truck.
Yep. Okay, but I should mention you are here for this one at the moment.
You are
at
presently
the moment,
here.
But when are you guys going to start it?
Oh,
we're already
What's going on?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you have?
That's what I'm saying, Steve.
Yeah,
Wow,
we've
I
been
feel
going
like a
for
total
like
idiot.
40 minutes.
You're on.
Really?
You are public to the known universe, Steve. Everybody in the public chat say happy birthday to Steve.
Happy birthday, Steven.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, God, don't sing. I already got 10 messages from my family today with that stuff all over it.
Oh, goodness. Happy birthday, Mr. Steve.
Can we get back to the animal sex?
You. Animal sex. That is what he's into. So at least we sorted that out.
All right.
I hate all of you. You're all great. So I heard, Andy, you broke the interwebs earlier today. Is that what you did?
You know, that we were trying to, and so far for, let's see. Oh, yep, this is still going. Yay, I have an entire single human being who actually went to my page to watch this.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that card thing worked. I never put a card in a live stream before. I hope it shows up in the stream and not just in the replay. There should be a card.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either, but there was a button for it, so I
I don't
figured I
know
would
how
try
it
it.
works either, but I know if I go to my watch page, then I have this horrible 30-second sound lag, and it makes me want to vomit.
Oh yeah, mute that. You gotta mute that. That'll.
Oh no.
Can you guys see me or no?
No.
No, we can't
No.
see you.
There have
Is
been,
there-
there have been issues with people's cameras and the new service, so
Because I just got this awesome shirt. Cat Coven. I remember this. It's a bunch of cats doing witchcrafty things. It's my birthday present. And I really wish I could show it to you guys right now. Probably wouldn't be able to see it anyway because I'm sitting at Home Depot parking lot right now.
Yeah. Plug for Home Depot for people in cat shirts hanging out in the parking lot for all of your home needs.
Well, I'm just like Andy and Cy. Home Depot's a great place to get stuff to burn stuff down with.
yeah, it
Indeed.
really is.
Oh goodness. So do you guys have another animal sex video for Steven for his birthday?
We
Oh,
definitely do, and it might be something involving what we were just talking about. It's almost like I was trying to lead up to it.
Wow.
Let's see. New animal sex things for Steven and his birthday, because that's what he's into.
Did you just say new anal sex? What?
Animal. That's much better. It just occurred to me. I was no, not that. It's animal sex. Much
Is
better.
it going to be like the dragonflies? Wait, what? Missed that. I totally missed that.
It's not anal, it's animal.
See, much better.
Oh,
Big
no,
difference.
animal anal?
That-
Animal, yeah.
Animal anal might be a thing for you too, but that's TMI, Steven.
Oh yeah.
That's
It
TMI.
wasn't my
Steven.
suggestion. It was Sally's suggestion, not mine.
Oh my gosh.
She said
Okay,
it.
just
Okay, let's
just
jump
as
into
an
this
aside,
video.
let me just hold on. Let me tell you. There's Kenyan officials that say that the gay lion sex that they're observing is due to the gay tourists that visit the lions. All I have to
Oh my
say is that
freaking
I'm
word.
super impressed with the gay people that decided to have sex in front of wild lions. Man, mad
That's
props to
probably
you.
not a
High
safe
five
thing
right
to
there,
do.
man.
That is some serious bravery.
Oh my god!
I do not recommend having sex in front of vicious predatory carnivores of any kind.
They apparently learned it from
I
the
don't
gay
think any
tourists.
of us do.
You know, I want to know who those gay tourists were that were having gay sex in front of the lions where they could learn that, because
Well,
I'm
they
pretty
must be
impressed.
some of the most brave people on the planet, because that.
oh,
just-
there's a lion over there. They could learn stuff from us. That's automatically what you think when you're having sex with the same sex in the Serengeti.
Because like a couple of lions would even know what a couple of bipeds having sex would even look like, or even which hole it would even be in, right?
No. They would look
No.
over. They would look over and say, "Oh my, food." That's what they would
That's-
say.
That's
Pretty
what the
much.
Kenyan government is saying right now, guys, is that the gay lions learn it from people who visit them.
That's about as credible as the. What was the frog? Who was with the gay frogs? Was that Rush Limbaugh? Who the hell was that?
No, that was what's his face?
That was InfoWars guy.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that was
Alex
InfoWars.
Jones.
Yeah,
Alex Jones.
Alex
Yep, you're right.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's InfoWars guy.
That
Have you
was.
seen the
Oh my
remix of
God.
that? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look for that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
So, alrighty.
Okay, on
Steven.
to other things. I just wanted to point that out because I saw that today and I thought it was interesting.
All right.
Okay, so on to a B-rated movie.
Oh my! It's funny you say that,
Ooh, like Lost Skeleton?
Andy. It's funny you say that because we happen to have a video queued up related to bees.
Yay!
As if
Wait,
by
are you guys
Please.
taking anything from true facts? Because that stuff's hilarious.
Oh yes, we were talking about that before.
Oh, yes.
All
Just
righty.
watch the grasshopper one.
This is pretty good as well. All righty.
Okay.
And here we go. Let us learn something about the humble bee.
If I were a bee, a queen bee, I would be very fat and do nothing else but lay eggs. The unfertilized eggs will hatch my sons. The fertilized eggs will hatch my daughters. If I were a daughter, I would be sterile, and I would do all the work. I would have antennas to help me hear, and pads on my feet to smell. I would have compound eyes to see everywhere, and I would be armed with a stinger for the fence. I have many sisters, and I communicate with them by dancing. I tell them where the flowers are. To one of my little sisters, I would feed the royal jelly that would make her fertile, and one day she will become the queen. If I were a male bee, I wouldn't have a father, and I will be called a drone. I would have many brothers, and we would do nothing, just waiting to have sex. A female, ready to mate. Sex! Our brother would fight! I'm the strongest! I would fly after her. I would mate her in flight. It's our nuptial flight. But pulling out from her, oh, my penis would break off. It would get stuck in her vagina like a cork in a bottle, but it would prevent other males from mating with her. She will be queen. She would start a new colony with my babies. But I would die. Without my penis, I would bleed to death.
What? What was that? That was some student film crap right there. It was hilarious.
Absolutely great
Happy
stuff.
birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday to you.
You know what? I
That's
want to
just
be a
what I
queen
need.
bee. You know, just bring me honey and I'll lay eggs and I'll just be fat for everyone. That'd be fantastic. Let me just do that.
I was
I
starting.
was just lay here.
Pretty good.
Bring me some honey. Let me look that up. And then I'm going to be laying eggs. And if I like you, we can have sex. If not, you know. And even if we have sex.
What if I bleed out of my penis and die?
See, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
You
no,
knew
you're
that
damn
going
right.
in, Steven. You knew that going in.
When she started about the life of a guy bee, I was thinking, that's it? You just hang out and wait until you see a girl. What? Wow, that's a kick-ass life, that is. And then she got to the end. Okay, maybe this is not the thing.
You know where it's going to go, because hopefully your parental bees would have been like, hey, so if you totally have sex with a chick, your dick is going to come off and you're going to bleed to death. I'm just saying.
You know, it's a really good thing that we don't have exoskeletons and things don't just snap off.
Well, you know, there was that King Missile song in the 90s, Detachable Penis.
I know that song.
Oh,
my
Steve, your camera is active now. You said you wanted to show up
Yeah,
and shoot a shirt.
I fixed it. I wanted to prove to you that I was sitting in the truck in a Home Depot parking lot.
Product placement.
Oh, we believe you.
Product
Oh,
placement.
okay.
I think we just made some loot.
Oh my goodness. So the detachable penis by King Missile. Didn't he lose it and he found it like at a like yard sale later on? Is that how the song goes?
Yeah, I was laying on a blanket next to like broken toaster ovens or something like that. And if the guy was selling it for $27, he talked him down to 17.
I would like my penis
Yes, I
back
know
for
that song,
$17.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh my god.
The 90s were a fantastic time,
Indeed.
especially for music. So it gave us the Pearl Jam and the Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Yeah. Nirvana.
King Missile.
King Missile, which is like way over there, but it's okay.
Okay, great comment from Mandelbrot said. I always look up at just the right time. You have sex while flapping your wings in midair and see if your dick doesn't snap off. That's great.
I will never have that problem, so it's okay with me.
Oh, I don't know if I want to click on that link, Bo.
Oh, goodness.
Do it.
Let's find out what this is. Oh
do
man,
you want to mute first to do a review, or?
At this point, does it even matter?
I don't have to ever worry about my dick breaking off unless it's a fabricated one I've attached to myself.
You know that might not be an avenue we want to go down, conversationally speaking.
Oh.
No, that might be something else altogether. Yeah, that's it.
Did this one start out normal and nice, and the train just
not at all.
Nope. The train was
a good one, Bo.
The train was sideways on the track when we got here.
Okay, good.
We've been wrong from the beginning, so it's okay.
Indeed. But alrighty. Well, that was that was.
So, I do have a question. Were you able to find the seahorse one that I was talking about a half hour ago?
Of course I did. Why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves while I
So, I'm all for getting guys to carry babies for the ladies, because that would be fantastic if we could do that. That would be way easier.
Can we eat them if we get hungry?
I would not have a problem as long as, the memories came with, because that just looks like fun.
Andy just wants big boobs.
And he cannot lie.
Well, if you're going to carry the child, you might as well have the ability to feed it.
And that's actually a thing. So guys who have estrogen sensitivity can actually grow breasts and have them be functional. So that could be something in your future, Andy, if you actually want to carry a baby and be able to feed it.
Yeah, Andy, just eat a lot and gain a lot of weight so you can get your moves.
I don't think the feeding part is the drawback. I don't think that's what's stopping Andy from wanting to give that a shot. Just a personal opinion. Alrighty.
Oh my god.
So you were asking about the seahorse video that I had just already and queued up here the whole time? That's what, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, Sai is just awesome like that.
Oh,
He's just on his game the whole time. It's great.
Yeah.
Before we watch the seahorse thing, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
There aren't going to be bleeding penises in this one, are there?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
Probably not.
No.
Do you have a problem with bleeding penises?
Yeah.
I'd see a doctor then.
Is this related to some kind of personal trauma in your past? You might want to see another type of doctor as well.
Yes, the personal trauma is this episode.
All right. So, yeah. So, you were saying something about seahorses, I believe?
Yes!
There are a lot of species of both amphibians and fish, actually, where the male does carry the children through their infancy, and it's actually not a very abnormal thing. I know we're cracking a lot of jokes about it and having a lot of fun with that this evening, but on our planet, it is actually very regular for the male of the species to carry the children to term. Seahorses happen to be a prime example of that, and since they are so ridiculously cute looking, it makes it easier to accept that way, because a
Hmm.
lot of toads are just. Ugh.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the babies in the back skin, right?
Ah,
Oh,
dude,
that's
yeah, no.
Could you?
Andy, don't let the Kenyan government see this.
No, they're
Well,
gonna
I will
blame
do my
you for
best.
it.
Yeah.
They probably will blame me
All
for
of a
it.
sudden,
I'm sure that there's plenty
people
of
start
people in this
sticking babies
country
in
that
their
might as
back
well.
skin.
Do you know how many lions watch YouTube, Andy? Because that's really important.
I'm guessing 1 out of 4.
Great. So we're gonna have
25%
lion
of
flat
lions.
earthers.
Oh my goodness, 25% of lions are going to be gay from watching this seahorse episode.
They'll
But it's-
probably be flat earthers too.
The seahorses are straight. That's the whole thing. The seahorse is straight. Just because they carry the child and they're the male doesn't mean that they are
lack
homosexual.
morals, Andy. You know that.
Oh my god, the horrific immorality of the seahorse.
Well, they've not been saved. I've never seen one in the audience with Ken Ham. They've not been
clearly
saved yet.
that is why the LGBTQ community uses the seahorse as their emblem, not the rainbow.
Now, I hope this is the right one. It is a seahorse video, but I'm not sure if it is the specific one you were thinking of. Shall we see?
You know,
That's
I'm not
okay.
sure it's going
I
to.
just admit it. You just Googled seahorse right now and grabbed the first video.
Exactly. I mean, no, I've had this queued up for hours. All right, here we go. See goddamn horses.
The best kind.
Nothing in there. Is he seducing me? What am I, a seahorse? In the Cygnatidae family, which includes sea dragons and pipefish, it's the male that gets pregnant. My pouch is empty, ready to receive eggs, so I open and close it to entice a female to make me a father. Here she is. She holds my tail. She likes me. She wants to
Oh,
dance.
this is so sweet, guys.
She wants to be seduced. Oh, her eggs! She deposits them into my pouch. I'm pregnant. Oh. My cousin, the pipefish. He's pregnant too. Oh no. He likes a new female. He aborts his eggs to make room for a new pregnancy. Postcopulatory selection. First he screws, then he chooses.
First you screws, then you choose. If only ladies in the human world could do that, you know?
Well, as long as you copulate with that awesome music that they had going.
You know? I just, with all the, okay, little side political thing, with all the abortion regulation going on right now, especially in Ohio, it's like, first you screw and then you choose. I'm like, well, you know, it's like way more complicated than that. Girls don't just get to pick, okay, I'm going to have babies with you because, oh, it's so complicated. It's like not that easy. I wish I could put my eggs in a guy. That would resolve the whole problem. That really would.
Well, I know my Halloween costume next year for sure. It's definitely going to be that seahorse.
full of
with the
eggs.
pouch and everything. The pouch.
And
I
you're
can
just
put
gonna
eggs in
throw
there.
it at people. I screwed, and now I'm choosing.
You don't want to. You don't want to do the bee. You definitely don't want to be the bee. And the praying mantis didn't come out ahead either. Ah, see what I did there?
But
Oh my goodness!
Oh, gosh.
If human ladies could put their eggs in dudes, that would solve a lot of problems right now.
That probably would have shifted the entire geopolitical landscape of our entire existence.
It's like, here, dudes, you want to carry the babies? No? All right, bye. It's okay.
Like I'm saying,
Yep.
you give us the baby carrying, you got to give us the memories too, because you got to be distracted by something.
we could never give up smoking and eating junk food and drinking beer.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the ranks would probably not have made it.
Well, yeah.
Not even for
I'm
the
just going to be real
memories.
honest.
Not even for the memories of the junk in the trunk that comes along with that.
Well, see, almost, except for that whole pain thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, the pain aspect does still add, like...
Well,
kind of takes the shine off
like
of it.
a tummy pouch, you could just like fart it out or something, right? And it'd be no big deal.
Oh yeah, the
Well,
sea
you know,
orchid.
if we could go the marsupial route, I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with being a marsupial.
It sounds to me that there's a bunch of men here that don't want to exhibit the pain that women go through. I'm just saying.
I don't think any one of us wants to acknowledge the extent of the pain that reproduction is for the human female.
No, Mel, you're absolutely right. I'm not too big to admit that I would never want to go through that. Hell no.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
End of humanity. End of humanity.
I've been through
That's
one
what
of the
we're talking
second, what is considered one of the second most painful things that a man can go through, and that's breaking your femur. I have not passed a kidney stone, and I hope to God I never do, but I have broken my femur and simultaneously tore my ACL, ruptured my MCL, and tore my hamstring. It was fucking horrible, but it's still not considered as much pain as childbirth.
Andy,
So no, I do
that's
not want to know what that's like.
Yeah, that's messed up because it's not as much pain as childbirth. But Andy, I don't know the circumstances, and you don't have to answer me. But I am curious: were you mauled by a T-Rex?
No. Downhill mountain biking, I hit a jump at an off angle, washed out in loose dirt, and fell about, well, all in all, it was probably about 10 to 12 meters, and I landed directly on my knee, just straight down impact.
Oh my goodness, doorknob head said, Andy broke all that stuff. I don't think he's having sex correctly.
I was mountain biking. It had nothing to do with procreating.
Mountain biking's not key or isn't code for something?
No, I literally was mountain biking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yes, absolutely. All right.
Yes.
Ain't no more.
No, I absolutely was mountain biking. I unfortunately broke it. And I lost my home. I lost my job. I lost a career. I lost a relationship that I was deeply embedded in. I lost a lot of stuff with that. It was extremely difficult for me to go through. Breaking your femur is horrendous.
Yeah.
And I was put back together with cadaver parts and bolts, and I walked through metal detectors and my leg vibrates. I have dreams of memories that were not mine because I have cadaver parts in me. It's really weird. It was a bad situation. It took 9 surgeries to put my leg back together because I broke it that badly.
Andy, glad you could find a little humor in that. Better than I am. It sounds like a nightmare. I'm sorry, buddy, you had to go through that. It was something that I chose to do. It was something I did to myself, and
It could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse.
Yeah, it could have been.
I mean,
On that note,
granted,
guys,
it is so effing scary when you think that, like, I was in shock at the time. You know, and
At least
I'm
you
from
didn't hit your
Colorado, so,
head.
you know, I was actually, I got really stoned right after the crash. Not gonna lie. Got really, really effing stoned. And then I stood up and I felt my legs separate.
Ow.
And my femur went over my fibula and it got stuck there.
ouch.
It
Ouch.
was, I am so glad that I got really fucking high first, because that was when I realized, like, oh my God, dude, you really messed up. Like, you fucked up bad. Really bad. This is not good. You have to go to the hospital. Like, I'd crashed my bike so many times. I'm like, whatever. I'll be good. I'm good. We just
Didn't walk this off.
You know,
wait it out, walk it off, and then you try and walk it off, and you feel one bone slide over the top of another, and it's like,
Ow.
Well,
God,
on that
that was
note,
horrible.
guys,
that was freaking horrible.
on that note, guys, Andy, I just want to say that sucks, and sorry, bud, but I gotta go. And thanks for the birthday wishes, everybody. And Andy, don't go down any mountain bikes, okay?
Oh no, I haven't touched a mountain bike in years because of that.
Oh my.
I'm glad you were able to hop on for a little while, Stephen. And once again, happy birthday. I know this is a little bit of a weird episode and you weren't able to join in on it as much as we would have all liked, but this is your birthday episode, Stephen. So happy birthday, and I'm glad you could hop on for whatever amount of time you could.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Happy birthday,
Great as
indeed.
always, you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday. Woohoo. Alrighty.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so
Andy,
no more talking about my leg because it's making me hurt myself.
Oh yeah, no.
I have a little bit of empathy pain, but it's nowhere near the level of pain you have. But
I would say, and Andy, I'm glad you got the whole story out, because that completely nullifies the joke I was going to make. That right after you said the worst pain a man can feel, I was going to say you watched a Jeranism video, and see that would have been. But yeah, that pales in comparison to what you experienced. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm glad I'm glad you're reassembled properly. I mean, that's good.
Oh, I'm not reassembled properly. I'm just reassembled adequately.
He's like Iron Man. He's got adamantium, so he's either Wolverine or Iron Man or something, man. Is there vibranium in you? I'm curious.
No, there's not vibranium because that's not an actual material, but there is titanium. There are cadaver parts. I will always have 2 bolts in one in my femur, one in my fibula.
Mm-hmm.
That's never going to change.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
But yes, I was reassembled by modern medical science, and that's pretty darn cool, actually.
Much more effective than being prayed over.
If that had happened 75 years ago, which it seems weird to think about, but yes, just 75 years ago, I probably would have had to have had my leg amputated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 50 years ago, I would have had such large scars on the outside of my leg to allow a surgery of that nature to take place. And since it was only 15 years ago, I have tiny little scars from orthopedic procedures and 2 really big scars from having a hole drilled through my shin into my leg.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it could be much worse. It really could.
Well, still among us, I am happy. For that.
Yay!
Yes, it was a horrific event. It was a terrible thing, but it was not going to stop me from doing any of the rest of the things in my life.
Well, all right.
So not 100% sure how we got sidetracked on this to this degree, but every now and then it happens on Sunday Science.
You know, we should probably
pain.
We should probably mention as a PSA that it is not the recommended treatment to get way high after such an accident. That is not. We're not in any way recommending that as your medical treatment. But
no, if you break your leg, don't get stoned and think that you can walk it off. Because
not a good idea.
that it does not work. A broken leg is a broken leg. You have to go to the hospital immediately.
Indeed.
That's all there is to it.
Agreed. Now, you know, I was going to at the end of this throw it in just because it is something of significance. Talk about the whole Article 13 thing. I don't know if everyone has heard about that, but honestly, we're already quite a bit over time, and maybe we'll save that and do a whole talk on that because that is a significant thing. Maybe we'll do a separate show for that. That's the meme rule or meme law that's going to make it very very hazardous to be a YouTuber or meme maker or anything of that sort, or could. And it's going to significantly impact, if it passes in its present form, it's going to significantly impact, well, just about all the social media platforms. So see how I not talk about things? I got to work on that, don't I?
You know,
people in the side chat are talking about kissing their knees, and that's some challenge.
that is almost as tough for me as getting my elbow in my ear. I can't.
You know, you can put your knees. It's like, how can you like kiss your knees?
No.
Wait,
just nope.
But you totally can. You know, you can kiss your knees. I don't know why this. It is like a challenge.
I'm really not that fond of my knees.
And you got to remember, my legs are probably 1.5 to 2 times the length of yours, so kissing my knee would be very, very easy.
Put up or shut up.
Oh, phone down. That was bad.
Got your phone. Okay. Kiss your knees, Andy, for science, of course.
Easy peasy.
And you don't even have any breasts to get in your way. That's quite, you know.
Well, that does make it a lot easier.
Wait, did we miss it? Ow. Did we miss it?
He kissed his knee. Did you miss it?
Well, he wasn't on this. He's got to be talking when he does it, or he doesn't show up.
Oh, yeah, you can kiss your. Right. I mean, I can kiss my knees, but
leg with the hole through the knee. The scar's down here somewhere. It's really hard to see. The nerve damage is fucking terrible too, and this is extremely uncomfortable. But yes, very easy.
Oh goodness! You know, now put giant breasts in your way and let me know how that goes.
Yeah, no, I got nothing around to simulate that.
Yeah, you know,
it's just nothing.
Well, you know, on that,
I will say.
I think Psystrike's getting a little uncomfortable here, Mel.
On that note,
I'm sorry, Psy. I've dared Andy to do things.
I didn't know that could be done. I'm gonna have to make a list.
He'll be like Mikey off of like Life cereal. Give it to Andy. He'll eat it.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Once again, copper sulfate, yummy.
Kuzo 4! Kuzo 4, yay!
No,
the revenge.
Will never be that kid that eats weird shit because someone said I should. Make weird shit because someone said I should. Hell yeah. Let's go make some weird ass shit.
Oh, goodness.
Consume it? No.
Can you kiss your toes, though?
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
On that note,
We've learned things today. We've learned about how praying mantises reproduce, as well as seahorses and bees, right? And
spiders. Don't forget spiders.
spiders. Yes.
You know,
Spiders.
there is something about the poke and run.
Poke and run. Boy, you know, nice. Drive-by impregnation. Boom! It's like Power Ranger move or something. It's strange.
You know, when you just don't feel like getting eaten after having had some fun.
You run away as quickly as you can.
Just, hello, I'm out.
Lots of fun for 5 seconds and I'm out. Like, bye. My mama warned me about lady spiders like you. Best of pump and go.
Oh my god.
All right. On that note,
I think
it's Sunday.
now.
It's Sunday science, and we're learning things, and sometimes that means we talk about taboo things.
You know, sometimes education can be a little embarrassing.
Are you embarrassed, Andy?
especially for that
I'm not
bee.
embarrassed.
Especially for that poor bee.
I'm the one that decided that this was going to be a thing.
For Steven's birthday, we will blame his birthday.
That works.
Yes, due to the
I've always been good with the blame the absent method, so that's fine.
Yes, yes.
All right,
We will
so
blame-
Hillel is also at blame for this one.
He is also
He has
absent.
not been here for a couple of shows.
Indeed, and actually, we need him because he's the one that traditionally says, "Sorry, isn't this supposed to be a science show?"
Oh my gosh.
You know, if people don't think science is funny, they've never been in a lab. So I'm just saying, science is hilarious all the time. It really, really is, if you're doing it correctly. And if you're upset, you know, it's like 90% failure. So if you can't laugh that off, then you're doing it wrong. And you're going to be miserable for a very long time. So,
I concur.
All right then.
Oh my gosh. Well,
on that note,
this has been an absolutely awesome episode of Sunday Science.
oh
and
yes,
I can't thank this panel enough for being here and having a great time and all of those fun things, but we have basically ran way past our typical time limit. And I'm sure there are some people elsewhere that would also like to have their time broadcasting this evening. So maybe it's time for us to say goodnight and thank you for joining us. It's always wonderful to have all of you with us here on Sunday Science. And thank you so much for joining us.
indeed.
Bye.
Have a nice week, everybody, and we will see you next time. Maybe even on a Sunday again. Who knows?
Right? This might actually become a normal thing.
It could happen.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty. Well, have a nice week, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.